Dude, the other day, I felt a tickle in my ear. Okay, this is gross. I don't know if I've told you this before, but when I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, I felt this pain in my ear.
Okay.
At first, it was just like, it was uncomfortable. You know, every now and then you'll get a little like pain or whatever in your ear, and it's just like a millisecond, it goes away and you're fine.
Yeah.
Or your ears pop or whatever. This was different. And it kept getting worse, and then it started to feel like extreme pain in my ear.
Stabbing pain?
Like stabbing pain, like repeated stabbing pain. And I had to get up and leave the theater.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what is going on? But I went to urgent care. They flushed my ear out with water. They had like a little salute thing to like shoot water in your ear on.
Uh-huh.
And the lady's like, oh, there's your problem. You got a bug in your ear.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What kind of bug?
It was a silverfish. Yeah. Yeah.
I hate those things. Oh my, those things, just the way they scurry away.
And when you smush one, you get like a weird dust, like bug dust all over it. And they leave like a powder behind or something. It's disgusting. Anyway, the night before that, we had a house in Apex that we had been renting, and I was selling it. And so the previous tenants had kind of trashed the place. So I was sleeping on the floor.
Oh my God.
In this house that had been like really disgusting for the last 2 years. And I'm sure that's why there were probably just silverfish everywhere that came out at night.
The house is basically a silverfish. It was a silverfish farm.
Yeah, like a silverfish factory or nest or something. But the reason I thought of that is because the other day I started feeling a twitch in my ear again. And it was kind of reminding me of that. I was like,
similar.
I was freaking out a little bit.
Dude.
And so I got a Q-tip and I was like,
don't tell me that.
I was like, I gotta, maybe it's just some, whatever, a piece of dust. And turns out it was a pickle's hair.
Much better.
So my little doggy, he's shedding a lot right now.
Sure.
And it was all up in there. It was like poking my eardrum. And it took me a while to fish it out, but eventually it came out. It was like this long dog hair. Not that long, but it was like an inch long or something that was all jammed into my ear.
Good boy.
But at least it wasn't a silverfish.
I'll take a pickle's hair any day over actually most things. But definitely a silverfish.
Yeah.
Those things are disgusting, man.
I almost wonder if I should put that on the podcast because it's going to be very triggering for a lot of people. I don't tell many people that story actually because it does kind of freak people out.
This needs to make it in.
Yeah.
That's a great story, by the way. I guess this is the Expo part day one.
Still on day one.
We still haven't made it past day one.
Yeah.
Part two. Yeah. We're trying to bring you like a full comprehensive experience of what it was like for us to experience Expo.
Yeah.
For the first time.
So before Expo, you went over to
Don.
Mr. Don's dad.
Don's dad's place in AZ.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
And it's only, it was like 20 minutes?
Yeah, it was basically, you take a right turn, a left turn, a right turn, you drive for like 20 minutes and you're electric bat. So, I guess Phoenix is my pinball hometown, technically, because that's where my pinball self was born.
That's where it originated.
That's where I got my pinball start. So if you don't know my backstory, I think episode 1, we kind of went over how we got started with pinball. And it was through my dad. So this trip, I was able to line it up to take some time off from work and spend time with my dad. And then on the way home, stop at Chicago. And I met up with you.
Yeah. Quick stop in Chicago for Expo.
Right. It was awesome. It was kind of like a pinball full circle / like it was all pinball essentially, right? To some degree.
Yeah.
It was really great, man.
A 2-week pinball vacation that wasn't really a vacation.
Yeah. But it was great, man. Like I had a really good time seeing my dad. I feel like this was like first time that maybe the Padawan surpassed the sensei.
You mean like in like skill wise?
Yeah.
Oh, is he that good?
He's pretty good.
Really? Okay.
But I mean, this is like the first time that I felt like, man, I got him.
Oh, okay.
Like there's no way, he's not coming back from this. So he just got a pristine Judge Dredd.
Oh, I want it.
And dude, let me tell you, I am embarrassed that I ever even had a single negative thought about that game. That game is incredible, dude.
Dude, I remember when we were first starting to talk about pinball, I was like, people, this Judge Dredd game, it's ranked pretty high and it's pretty cheap, and you were pretty dismissive. You're like, I've played that before.
It's because I played it at Baxter.
Yeah.
And it was set up terribly.
Yeah.
Right? Baxter, our local arcade here in Carborough/Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It just wasn't set up right. And it was super dark. I couldn't really see very well. This one was like, the one at my dad's house was tricked out, upgraded LEDs. You could see everything great. It had some kind of hard top. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was nice. It was very responsive. It felt like a new game. It was great. The freaking music, dude.
So good.
Oh, man. I was humming like little guitar riffs in my head,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how it went, the song. It was great. I remember that guitar lead.
Yeah. Dude, it's got like legit good guitar playing on it.
It was great, dude.
It's not like all midied and synth. It's like real legit guitar riffs, which is pretty cool for that. Like that must have been pretty early on to even be able to have like CD quality music or whatever.
Yeah, and it actually sounds great. Like it does. It does sound like real guitars. It sounds real and like you could totally vibe, man.
And like great melody and just like wail and but not overdoing it either. It's like tasteful.
Yeah, it was, dude. It's like good, it's a great game. If you haven't played a Judge Dredd game, go. Well, it's gonna be hard to find a good one, but try it. Try to find a good one, and it's totally worth it. Especially if you can hear the music and the call outs, and even little modes are great, man. There was a bunch of cool little modes that have like this charm to them,
So what about the wide body?
Honestly, I couldn't even feel it.
Yeah,
I think his was set up a little bit steeper. Normal,
to keep it from being floaty,
and it felt like a really fast, punishing, flowing game. And it's funny because like Judge Dredd, the game literally punishes you. It's crazy. Like hard rejections, like it's awesome, man. It's really, really fun. It just makes you want to keep trying to do better. I mean, it's like it was like that,
that I think I really want to get that game because it does seem to be one of the best values because you can get them under 4,000 pretty regularly, and it's like a fairly great game.
I told my dad, he was like, we talked on the phone recently, and he was like, I really haven't been able to do much better, because like I got on the board, right, and he hasn't been able to get on there yet, and he was like, I'm not really having any luck, and I was like, listen, do not get rid of this game.
Oh yeah,
do not get rid of this game. Because we need that game.
Are we going to buy it from him? Right?
We have to.
Okay.
It is in such good condition. Everything about it is great, dude. The cabinet, like the whole thing, it literally looks and feels like a brand new game somehow. Man, but that was tons of fun.
Dude, that game, it's one of the highest ones on my WPC, Williams era list. Like that and The Shadow. Yeah. Like there's just a couple games from that period that I want so bad.
And now for an important message. Look at all the people. Billy, what's the matter? Billy!
My friend passed out.
Help me get him up.
Never lift the head of a person who's fainted.
Airtight.
Keep him flat and raise his legs. Now loosen his clothes and use a wet cloth.
What happened?
You passed out. Remember, if someone faints,
never lift their head.
You got it.
Now we know.
And knowing's half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
And now, back to the show.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to line up the trip to Electric Bat, right?
Yeah.
I just texted Kale because they're having like a I think Tuesday nights they have like their league night, right? And it's like the biggest single location league night in the world, I think.
Right. Yeah, they got like 100 people.
And I was trying to make it, it's hard because I want to spend time with my dad, and like he gets tired because he's a little bit older. And I mean, I'm making him sound old. He's not really old, but it's like family time versus, he doesn't really hang out at like a barcade or bar with pinball games, right? He has his own stuff he does now, but we did watch the Sylvester Stallone movie, which was horrendous, but 100% worth the watch, right?
Yeah, well, fortunately, they were really smart to not use that property. Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't, right?
Yeah.
It would have been a much worse game. This game is awesome. It's totally original in that way. The artwork is great, and it's like full of like meme-worthy like image. It's beautiful. It's like comic style, but kind of dark. It has these weird, almost like Spawn. Remember Spawn?
Yeah. Okay.
More, you know what I mean? Because it's like comic booky and kind of darker. Yeah, it was great, man. The color schemes were great. Like
it's call-outs are really good on that game too.
Everything about that game is very. It stands out to me as well, man. It's one of those keepers.
The playfield with the like kind of middle flipper thing. I'm a sucker for those like middle of the playfield flippers, like Swords of Fury and. That's a tough one, man. I think it's so much fun to have that flipper there. It just changes the game so much, how it plays and shoots. It does. And that's one of the things I think my dad doesn't like because he's not used to like the upper flipper action, right? So interesting. You got to get used to that. Any game that has more than just the bottom two flippers, with the exception of like every single Pat Lawler game that has that flipper on the right that shoots to that ramp, to like the side ramp. You can go from one of those to the other and they all kind of feel the same. But most games, when they have extra flippers, it's kind of a whole new thing you have to learn. They're angled different. They're in a weird spot. You're shooting at something from a different position. There's like an extra thing your brain has to do. You have to take your brain off of autopilot. Yeah. You have to like think a little bit more about what you're doing and where the ball is. But yeah, man, it was great. And I'm really glad he bought it, man. And we spent tons of quality time, bonding time, just playing that game. And we figured it out together, you know, like just playing it without reading the instructions. He would play, I would play, he would play, I would play. We were like helping each other figure out, you know, like what the shots were, what the call outs are. And I think a lot of those 90s games are perfect for that. You can easily pick it up and just pay attention and you'll figure it out by like an hour. You pretty much know where to go, what you have to do. It's very repeatable. And it tracks because he doesn't like a lot of the new games. Oh, you know? Yeah. Okay. They're a little complicated, right? So so we should talk about Electric Bat. Yeah. It was freaking awesome, dude. Like I did go with my dad. He's got a vehicle, right? So he was like, did you guys take the dune buggy? No. It is street legal. Oh, really? So technically we could have. Yeah. Why not? You know, I would always take the dune buggy. You know, I think, I was afraid to be too cool. Yeah. No, but man, it was really cool. Like I ended up hitting up Kale on Instagram, right? We figured out a time and a day and I ended up going out there a little bit earlier. So it wasn't quite evening yet. It was late afternoon and he met up with us and dude, I really enjoyed it, man. The vibe, it's like an old venue / bar, pretty like, not old, but just kind of like quote unquote legendary to the area, like a well-known establishment. It was just cool, man. He kind of gave me the rundown of like how they expanded and like where they started. And all the games were freaking awesome, man. Like the decoration, the vibe, they had like a little tiki bar set up. It was great, man. I really wish I could have spent an actual weekend evening or something where I could have gone to that league night. Yeah. I did get to play with Kale a couple games and with my dad a couple games. And, I showed my dad Godzilla for the first time, which is cool. Interesting. Oh, they had a giant mnemonic, dude. Oh, really nice. That was awesome. We played giant mnemonic a couple times because that was the first game that got me into pinball. Yeah, I remember that's like one of their worst earning games. Like, aw. Yeah, so it was cool to play giant mnemonic with my dad because we hadn't played it since I was like 15, which is freaking awesome, man. That was great. Bought a couple shirts. Super cool, man. Like I really enjoyed it. And thank you for the shirt, by the way. Yeah, you're welcome, man. It's a cool shirt, and which glows in the dark. Remember the last night of Expo? Yeah. Because we shared the hotel room, right? Yeah. You were wearing this shirt, and like we turned the lights off, and all I can see is the Electric Bat logo, like in like that glowing green, glowing logo in the dark. Yeah. It's cool. It's not just a little glow in the dark. Nice job, guys, with that shirt. That's rad. That's awesome. Yeah, man. I wish I could have stayed there for longer than like an hour. I'm really grateful and thankful to Kale and Rachel for the hospitality. Congrats on the space and the place. Just being cool. And I don't know, man, like I really respect the work that it took to get there. And, you know, the ongoing, continual, never-ending work. Yeah. Right. The maintenance. You can tell that they really care about the community and the people. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. And I really wish we had something like that here. Anyways, I think that's it, man. I really just wanted to go over that. Oh, I almost got stung by a scorpion. Oh, really? Which was interesting. Are they prevalent in them parts?
Yeah. The last time I was there, I also got stung by a scorpion almost. It was crazy. I'm literally sitting there talking to my dad in the garage, right? He's like smoking a cigarette and he goes, "Hey, pick your feet up." And I was like, "What? Lift your legs real quick." And I was like, "What?" And I looked down and literally where my foot was a freaking scorpion, dude. So then he grabs his fly swatter, right? Swats it, but misses. On the upswing, the scorpion had latched on to the fly swatter, right?
Okay.
And it disappeared. So it was not on the fly swatter. It was not on the ground anymore. Where the fuck was the scorpion? And for like the next 30 minutes, dude, I was terrified.
Were you guys looking for it? Or
Yeah, and it was dark.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, in the garage at night. So like we had like 1 or 2 lights on, like it was nice outside because it's not so hot.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified because where is it? Like, is it in my hair? Is it on the chair? I didn't have shoes on. Anyways, we found it though.
Oh, okay.
And it was definitely dead. But for a moment there, I thought I was going to like get stung for real. I got a picture of it too. I'll show it to you.
Sure, that's pretty unpleasant.
Yeah. But then I researched it and I guess you can't typically die unless you're like severely allergic or you have some other stuff. It's just like a bee sting. I don't know why as a kid up until now at 36, I always thought like a scorpion was lethal.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, I mean, even black widows and brown recluses and stuff are very, very rarely lethal.
I thought until today that all of those guys were lethal.
Now, that being said, I knew somebody, like a acquaintance's mom, that supposedly died of a black widow bite when I was like a teenager. So there's that. But I think there's probably extenuating circumstances probably when that happens.
I guess if you get stung by a scorpion, you're probably good. But
yeah, maybe if you get stung like in the heart. That would be...
Well, watch your hearts, guys.
Don't be like prone on the ground, shimmying across the desert.
So inevitably, we had to play
Avatar.
Avatar. That's, I don't know why I said it like that.
Avatar. There was a decent line for Avatar. They had kind of an organized system. It was like a queue and then like, I don't know, 8 or 9 of the machines.
Yeah.
And then you could kind of wait in one line and then go to the next open machine.
I was satisfied with the queue system. I mean, it was like a single line and they had kind of like a semi-attendant that was like, hey, like waving you. Here you go, sir. Kind of directing people if you were taking too long or you weren't paying attention, right? Like, here's the next machine's opened up. With the wave of the hand.
Yeah, like a hostess.
Because I definitely was distracted for a moment, right?
It felt like a really long line when we first walked up because I think all the machines had like 3 or 4 player games going.
Right.
So that was a little bit of bad luck, but for the most part, the line moved pretty quick, and you could play that game without too much effort.
What do you think about the actual quote unquote booth or Jersey Jack display?
I mean, they didn't have nearly as big of a footprint as Stern, obviously. Like Stern, from a square footage perspective, had probably 4 or 5 times as much space as Jersey Jack.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember decorations and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, because I remember thinking like, wow, okay, they actually put a little bit of effort and like, some of like the decorations, they had like a cool little like upright little banner. They had like a little enclosed room with, I think they had Avatar in there as well. In like a darker setting, right? Like an enclosed room kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those little like dandelion looking lights that were hanging up that I think they were Avatar.
They look like jellyfish to me.
Yeah.
Like little floating jellyfish. Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like the Stern area was, in comparison, it was pretty stripped down and simple.
Right.
Like the games.
But with tons
in terms of like decoration.
You're 100% right, man.
Jersey Jack put in a little extra effort to
put these little
add some little designs.
Okay, a little flair.
Yeah. So they definitely had a little more flair. How much does that matter? Not a lot, because it's a big bright build. Like if you dim the lights in there, probably their decorations and stuff would have looked really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
It's cool that they put in the effort.
It tracks with
the style and how they make games and all that stuff.
The little details, right? And like the kind of like the more showy, creative, and artistic.
It's like going the extra mile.
Yeah, I was into it. I'm like, well, I liked it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
I appreciated it.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Jersey, Jack.
We got a few games in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, let's be real. We played it probably like 10% as much as we played X-Men. But yeah, as far as the game itself.
The gameplay, okay.
But man, there is a lot going on in that game.
There is a lot going on in that game.
It's not like a normal Jersey Jack as far as the play field and the shots and the layout.
Right. I want to know what you thought first. Like you're like immediately, right? You walk up to it, put your hands on the buttons, and you look at the screen. You hit start. What's your first impression? What do you think?
Well,
first game.
It does have that Williams element of you walk up to the game and you see stuff, and you're like, "How I want to do that." You see that like under the play field, little mini play field. You're like, "How do I get down there?" And then you see a weird looking ramp that has like a weird return and a weird other ramp that kind of crosses over with it. And then I kind of want to see everything.
Yeah.
And it really had that mystery element that I think is lacking from a lot of modern games. But in some ways, it's like Jersey Jack's X-Men to me. That's how I was thinking of it. Because
I get it.
We had just played X-Men and it's like, whoa, this is
different.
This is new, different, and futuristic.
Futuristic,
and next level. And this was kind of Jersey Jack's foray into similar territory.
Okay.
As far as like doing something new and different. I thought it was exciting. Like it didn't have the immediate wow factor with the shots that X-Men does.
Yeah, right, correct.
But there's a ton of stuff to do. So it feels to me less immediately gratifying than like X-Men.
I agree.
But it feels like it's going to be a really fun, deep game.
You know what? I have a very similar opinion, and it's kind of the same takeaway that I have. And I think it's funny because it's like, though all those things are the same reason that I kind of like, that would be my only negative feedback. Is I couldn't really get into it.
Yeah.
Because it was just too much. Like I need to like put this thing in my house, in my basement, like lock myself in for like a week.
Yeah.
Get some Takis, get some whatever, right? Like, and just like figure this thing out, right? But overall, I loved it, man. I thought it was really fun and again, innovative, and just like, it was cool to see the new stuff, like the new things, right? And the colors, man, the lighting, like the visual aesthetic of it was beautiful. And
it seemed challenging, but
challenging too.
Not excessively difficult, but it seemed challenging, maybe more so than some Jersey Jack games. There's a ton of shots. There's 4 or 5. How many flippers are in that thing if you count the bottom ones?
Oh man,
there's like 6 flippers in it. But yeah, it's too much to take in a couple games.
Yeah.
So we really would have to probably play it a lot more. And actually, it's set up pretty well at our local spot. So that's definitely a game I'm going to be diving into more. Pardon the isn't there like a dive shot? Yeah,
which is actually a cool shot.
It's cool because that's what leads down to the Sebastian the Crab,
which I thought was cool. Right, like the same shot diverts in like a vertical way, so it'll either go under or over. You know?
Yeah, and I thought the description in their marketing materials, the promo video that we saw, that it's a balance of stop and go gameplay and flowy gameplay.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. There's so much going on in the game that if it was much faster than it is already, it'd probably be too much.
Yeah.
I think they did strike a pretty good balance.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great game to have at home, man. And just kind of figure out, play with like your family, friends, whatever. And like, I would really enjoy to sit down with like you or anyone and just like have like a session, and just like hang out, whatever, get some food, get some drinks, and just like chill and figure out this freaking game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it would take a lot of time. And I don't know where the code is with that game, but it seemed like there was a whole lot of modes, a whole lot of different multi-balls.
I got like 2 multi-balls. I don't even know what I did. Hallelujah.
Yeah. There was several multi-balls happening.
Do you remember the ball lock that was under, like in the sub play field, upper left
it's like
side,
an upper left
kinda?
orbit shot that goes to a ball lock under the play field.
How the heck did I even go in there?
Yeah, that little under the play field ball lock is pretty cool.
I was locking balls, and it wasn't even. That was a totally different ball lock.
Yeah, right. And
what the heck was that?
And then of course, the little mini play field with the crab.
I still don't get that, by the way.
How to do it?
How to win?
Oh yeah, I didn't figure it out.
I hit all kinds of stuff, and I was
but
like,
there's like a little orbit, and then there's little targets.
Yeah.
It's fun to play. It's very fast.
It's very fast. I just couldn't figure out exactly. The same with the one right above it, where you have to actually select the target.
Yeah,
right?
you're
So
kind of picking the
like,
target while it bounces off of a pop bumper kind of thing.
So it's like an inverted, like you don't flip, you target, right? Like you choose the target instead of the flipper.
It's actually kind of like one of the homebrews had done something like that.
Right. Which was interesting, but I still couldn't really, with the short time we had, I couldn't really figure out exactly how those sections worked, right? And it was hazy and it was quick. Like it moves pretty quick through there, and anyways, but
that I like that. You know, it reminds me of like a Williams game. You know, and because
surprise,
because that's the thing about those Williams games. You see this thing like Twilight Zone or whatever. You see that like or the shadow that upper left, that upper play field. You're like, oh man, what the heck? And then you spend all this time figuring out, familiarizing yourself with the game. You finally get up there, and then it's over in like
it's quick
1 second. So then you got to do it again.
You got to go back. You got to get back there again.
It felt like that in a good way. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's all kind of challenging to get to, and it's all pretty satisfying. You want to do it again and learn more about it. So yeah, I thought that game was great.
I thought it was cool too, man. I think, going back to one of our prior conversations, it's kind of reinstilling excitement for me with the future of pinball and games, right? It doesn't feel assembly line per se. It doesn't feel like phoned in. It doesn't feel like any other game I've played. And maybe it wasn't my favorite right away. Maybe it was confusing a little bit. Maybe it seemed a little too complicated, but it's also exciting because I want to figure it out and I want to see what else is going on. And so I'm happy about that too.
Yeah, generally just about the future of pinball. Like I think you were saying before, how X-Men kind of feels like the future of pinball, and certainly for Stern. But we also kind of have a similar thing happening at Jersey Jack, and that's cool because I didn't expect that from Jersey Jack.
Right.
I expected kind of more of the same sort of variations on a Pat Lawler or Steve Ritchie layout.
Right.
Like Elton John is just a pretty classic Steve Ritchie layout. And then half the other Jersey Jack games are similar to other Pat Lawler games.
Right.
And he designed a bunch of them, of course. So, yeah, it feels like maybe the old guard is kind of moving out and they're evolving.
Yeah.
And that's pretty exciting because I just didn't expect it. I didn't either. Yeah. So, and even, I guess, Spooky. Like that Texas Chainsaw Looney Tunes layout and playfield is kind of similarly next level.
I was pleasantly surprised at how different the games played. Even though the same layout.
Yeah, and all of those layouts, all the newest games from all of those manufacturers feel like a significant evolution to me.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Right. Oh, dude, and again, I don't want to sidebar, but just a quick comment.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Evil Dead. I just want to see it, okay? I just want to see it. So
I saw Glenn texted us like the picture of it.
We'll leave it there.
And I haven't watched anything else about it. We'll talk about Evil Dead later.
We'll leave it there. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
No, that was the one game I said I hope they don't make because because it was like, are they going to make Goonies or Beetlejuice or I don't know. There's a couple others. And Evil Dead. And I was just like, well, Evil Dead's the last one I hope they make. Mainly because as much as I like, Evil Dead and Bruce Campbell and stuff, I was hoping for something that wasn't another just like horror game,
I'm into it, man.
I mean,
I'll take it.
First glance looks like the artwork, like Chris Franchi, he nailed it. It looks great. It looks amazing.
I haven't seen anything but just like the stills, like the thumbnails.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen any video or like actual like playfield images or anything like that.
Yeah. While we're on the Avatar subject, after we played it, I don't know what it was, the second or third time. So Jersey Jack had like a cameraman.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he had a pretty legit like broadcast film camera thing.
Like it was like a baby production crew.
Yeah.
I was shy. I don't know what happened. I was so shy, man.
That's funny. After we played a game, they're like, would you guys be willing to say a few words about Avatar? And so they filmed us while we were talking about the game, basically probably saying the same things we just said.
What was like the pose? Like a high five or something?
I think they were trying to get us to do some pose, and we're like, let's just do a high five. And they're like, oh, you guys are going to regret this. And we're like, oh, no, we're not. We're idiots.
Oh, my. I forgot about the high five.
Yeah. So, there's some video out there of us being idiots for Jersey Jack. So if you've seen it, let us know.
Where is that thing?
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, well, anyway, if somebody sees us on some Jersey Jack promotional material, that's what that was.
Yeah, it's us. I wasn't ready. I think I was thinking about it, and you were like, "Yeah, sure." And in my head, I was like, "Oh no, I don't know. Oh my god, I don't know what am I gonna say."
That's funny.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it went, actually.
So that's the one scenario when I was more extroverted.
You were
than Don.
You were
at Expo.
You gave some genuine, like, legitimate feedback, and you were like, I think I remember you saying a line like, I think I don't really care so much about the theme, but the game was great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm be real with him.
And I'm just like, it was fun.
I mean, dude, the guy that I was talking to who worked for Jersey Jack was kind of like winking and nodding, I don't care about the theme either.
I saw that. I just in my head, the first thing I thought of was like Mr. Jersey Jack crying in the corner if I said something negative about his game. So I think that's why, I'm bad at that stuff, man.
Yeah.
But I did have fun, so that was true. I didn't lie about it. But
No. Oh, the lighting. We didn't talk about the light.
Yeah.
You can't get a great feel for it in a super bright environment. But you could tell that it was going to be cool.
It was.
We had the eclipse thing happening. You could tell that was going to be really cool.
Man, the mood is just great. And it's cohesive, right? Like the gameplay with the modes, with what's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
It all kind of ties in a way that really kind of feels great.
Like a complete package.
Yeah. Like you could probably say the lighting, it's a major contributor to the mood of the game. Like half of the mood is the freaking lighting. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool when all of the different elements of a game kind of come together and make that full package. And I think that game has got that.
Yeah, I agree.
We're going to have a real problem if Jersey Jack gets the license to Blade Runner, because then if they make an equivalently cohesive game as Avatar, I'm going to have to buy that game.
Dude, listen to me, okay?
Yeah.
I can already picture that game. It would be amazing. Just don't mess up the artwork, please.
But if you don't have the license to that, then, well, Jack Danger, please make that your next game. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now for a word from our sponsor.
In 1977, more than 400,000 copies of a brand new comic book went on sale nationwide in Britain and became an instant success. Today, Judge Dredd is recognized as Britain's most famous comic book hero. Backed by a multi-million-dollar campaign blitz that includes toys and action figures, fan clubs, and a soon-to-be-released major motion picture starring Sylvester Stallone, Judge Dredd is destined to be America's favorite crime-busting law enforcer. Handcuff the competition and step into your future with Judge Dredd, featuring Super Game by Bally.
And now, back to the show.
So,
we're still on day one.
Still on day one.
Day one.
Picking up kind of where we left off, we had gone over and played some spooky games.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
We couldn't get enough of the spook.
Yep.
So we had to go to another spooky game, which was not made by Spooky, but by an awesome team.
Yeah.
Including our friend, Glenn
Wachter. It's fun to say that name.
It is, actually. It is.
I don't know.
What was your first impression of Glenn, IRL?
Glenn?
Yeah.
Wachter? He was also taller than I was expecting.
That was what I was going to say. He was much taller than I expected.
Yeah.
And more buff.
Yeah, he seemed pretty fit, but yeah, he was a tall man.
Yeah, tall man. It was weird. It was like meeting a friend. The only way I can describe it is if I could go back to being 13.
Yeah.
And I had like online chat friends.
Yeah.
And I ever got to see one in real life. Oh, it's Glenn. Oh my God, Glenn. And like, I don't know, man. It was weird. It's like we've been friends forever, right? And I guess my other impression, right, was like, what a fun guy. Like, what a cool, just dude, his energy, like his positivity, Glenn, he is the party.
Yeah. If you follow Glenn around Expo, you're going to have some fun.
We had so much, like he was making the fun. If there was nothing fun, he was making it happen.
Yeah. And then let's see, how do I put this? Glenn was showing off a leather pouch that he was very proud of and just wanted people to like check it out. And it's like,
what's wrong? It's just a little token. It's like a tiny token pouch. It's like how many quarters can you fit in? Like 3 or 4?
So I think it was actually maybe not even big enough to fit.
Yeah, barely, right? Yeah.
A few tokens. But that's what my thinking first was like. Oh, it looks like you could fit some tokens in there.
Useless, right? Like how many tokens can you put in there?
You could put 7, 7 tokens in there.
But then we learned, right? Like what?
Yeah, well, he was like passing it around at the table when we were eating dinner that night.
Cool, Glenn. Yeah.
It's a kangaroo nutsack. That's what it is. It's a kangaroo nutsack.
Oh my God, man. Yeah.
And I kind of want one now.
Amazing.
Apparently, this is the thing. I didn't know. I had to look it up. Like, it's like, how are they getting these nutsacks off of the kangaroos in order to make them into the pouches?
Sustainably sourced, I guess. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, they don't regrow. I don't think. That'd be cool if you had like a one that would regrow. That'd be really handy. But
yeah.
No, I guess they eat, like, kangaroos like a big food source in Australia. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like people actually eat them?
Dude, there is such a thing as kangatarians.
No.
Yes.
No.
There are people who don't eat meat except kangaroo meat.
No way.
Yeah. I guess the idea is that it's extremely sustainable and ethical for the most part, like, because they're all hunted.
Okay. Is it like deer here? Like
yeah,
in North Carolina,
yeah,
you might hit a deer.
Yeah.
In Australia, might you hit a kangaroo?
Yeah. They're hunted, and I think the idea is that they just shoot them in the head and they kill them instantly. But anyway, so yeah, it's extremely lean meat. Have you seen the buff kangaroos?
Yeah.
So very lean meat. You can't cook it like beef. It has to be cooked differently.
What does kangaroo taste like?
I wasn't clear on, Wikipedia didn't really give me that information.
Dude, listen.
I'm going to start telling people I'm a kangatarian.
Johnny Crunch, we need you.
Yeah, we got to get Johnny Crunch's opinion on Johnny. We need to know.
Yeah, he's the head of the Bash Pinball Australia street team.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Johnny Crunch, what does kangaroo meat taste like? Report back to us.
And we'll give you our address if you can mail us some nut sacks, please.
Kangaroo nut pouch. Make
sure it was like a big virile kangaroo so we can fit a lot of quarters in there.
Right.
That's important.
If you want, keep one for yourself.
Yeah. It's on us. Yeah. Anyway, so Saw Pinball, what was your impression of, because to me, the homebrew stuff is pretty new. There wasn't much that I remember at PinFest. And, where else are you going to see homebrews? So what was walking up to Saw? What did you think?
Okay, so I think my biggest takeaway, and I gave him this feedback because I thought, for me, it was personally like pretty good feedback. Because, technically it's a retheme of Whirlwind.
Right.
Not once did I ever feel anything close to playing Whirlwind, right? So I think to me that was the biggest, right? It felt more like an original theme than a retheme. And to be honest, dude, don't hate me for this, y'all. I actually thought it was a lot more fun than a lot of new games that I've played.
Sure, yeah.
It felt good. It felt right. The little like details and little tricks and little things they had really did it for me, man, personally.
Yeah.
This is actually my first retheme that I've ever played. So I was kind of going in open. Maybe it'll suck. Maybe it'll be fun, but not my thing, right? And I'm totally cool with it because, it's hard to make a pinball game, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I was blown away. Like, I was like, man, this is actually a feasible game.
Yeah.
It just feels good. It plays. It's fun. It's like little toys here and there. Just totally captured the Saw feel. And I don't know. It just felt right to me.
I felt the same way. I haven't played a ton of Whirlwind, so I'm familiar with the layout because it's basically was repurposed in Jurassic Park Data East. Like the layout is almost identical, except they replaced the side ramp with the T-Rex.
Does it also have the spinners, like little spinning?
No, it doesn't have the spinners on the playfield, which is awesome for Saw because they're saws.
Saw blades.
Yeah, I mean it's like an even better use than Whirlwind. You know, like what could be better than that? But yeah, so I've seen the pictures of Saw homebrew, but I'm a little bit of a skeptic. When you see pictures online, it's kind of like, okay, it's cool. It looks cool from a distance. But, you know, I was kind of expecting like you get in there and you look closely and you start to
look at that thing.
Start to see all the seams.
Right.
And yeah, we're the
yeah, of course.
All those little, you know, things that you would expect on something that's kind of a DIY thing. But there were no seams. There were no zoom in and it looks worse. It wasn't like that. It was like, oh, this looks just as good and actually better than quite a few of the brand new machines on the floor from various manufacturers.
Right. Manufacturers.
Yeah, manufacturers. Like the artwork all looked beautiful and super clear and colorful and high res and just like,
dude, even
flawless.
Even the powder coating was like awesome.
Oh
like,
yeah,
what the
beautiful.
heck?
And the back glass, like the back glass art looked amazing. There's like all these hidden images in it and all this stuff, Easter eggs and stuff.
Yeah, the music. Come on, we're talking about Glenn. The sound effects and the music. I mean, dude.
Yeah,
it was awesome, man. Like just
those. Do you remember? So when we were playing it, those North Carolina guys.
Yeah.
From what? Currituck County or something? Caldwell County?
Yeah. Those random there's 3 dudes just like walking by, and we ended up playing with them. Yeah, because I told the guy, right? I was like, hey, our friend Glenn, you know, did the music and the sound or whatever, and like
and then Glenn's like, what do you think of the game?
And he goes, well, you know, it's pretty fun, but like, you know, the sound and like the music, you know,
that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
That dude was hilarious. Yeah, he was just like immediately goes into like razzing a dude that he's never met before. Yeah, congrats to Glenn and everybody who worked on Saw. There was a ton of work put into that thing, and it really shows. And I think they got the attention that they deserve at Expo. Everybody who was playing that game, people were talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, whenever the subject of homebrew came up, people were like, did you play Saw?
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm not sure what the future plans are, but if you see it or if you hear about it at some event, you should go play it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally worth like playing if you have the chance. Go check it out. It's awesome, man.
I mean, and if you're just interested in like homebrews, making a game, like kind of just to see like what's possible with a retheme.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's inspiring.
Yeah,
man.
it's inspiring.
And now for a word from our sponsor.
Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
What Nintendo?
And now, back to the show.
One of the more exciting things that, for me anyways, about Expo, we were invited to the prestigious Media Mixer.
Ooh, Pinball Media Mixer.
Kineticist.
Yeah.
And friends. I felt very special.
Being invited.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was cool. That was you know, made us feel like we were kind of part of the thing.
Part of the media.
Yeah, it's weird. That part's weird. It's like,
Right.
We're media. Wait, what?
We're media.
I don't know. Maybe by some technical definition.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely on my calendar.
Yeah.
And I definitely RSVP'd right away because I wanted to be there. Right. And earlier in the day, I noticed that there was an email
Yeah.
from Colin.
Yeah.
Right. Alzheimer. How do you say his last name? Colin.
I was wondering if it was pronounced the same way as the degenerative brain condition.
So earlier that morning, I'd seen an email from Colin at Kineticist, basically asking if anyone needed a ride.
Yeah. Well, at that point, we were already taking Glenn's.
Oh,
we had room for 2 more in the Sentra rental car.
So as we're getting ready, as time is approaching the Media Mixer, I get a call from an unknown number. On the other end is the thickest British accent I have ever heard.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what is this? And they were asking about a ride to the Media Mixer. And I kind of
like couldn't even get his name or any information because of the accent over the phone.
Right. So I basically made plans to meet with this individual around 4:30, I believe, because the mixer was at 5.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the stairs. So 4:30 rolls around and you're like, wait, who are we meeting? What's his name? I'm like, dude, I don't know. And then I'm starting to think like maybe this is a prank. So we're hanging out. We don't even know what to look for, who to look for, what they look like. Do you want to say who we ended up taking to the Media Mixer? Gary Flower, okay? Like the author, like / legend, right?
Yeah, pinball author and legend.
Oh my God, it's Gary Flower, dude. Like, what the heck? So, we drove through a couple parking lots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then another one. And then we circled another one.
Yeah. Went from the Schaumburg parking lot. Not sure if we ever actually got onto a road, but Antarium, where this event was, is separate place.
Right.
It was like a mall.
It was literally like a mall. Right? And so that was really cool, man. And I ended up talking to Gary for a little bit after we got there. And man, what a cool guy. What a privilege. And I really enjoyed just catching up with him and learning a little bit more about, his whole pinball life and just how much he's contributed to the whole scene and community. And his wife. She was lovely. And they were really nice, man.
Yeah, that was a fun hangout with Gary, like totally unexpected. Yeah, I feel like we kind of made friends with him a little bit.
Gary, if you're listening, you promised me you would be on the show. Kind of.
Sort of.
Let's do it. We'll figure something out, yeah.
So Antarium, which is a big kind of Dave and Buster's-y sort of place, but plus pinball.
Right.
Pretty well appointed.
Huge. Two stories.
Yeah, they had a lot of food available to us.
Right.
As members of the media.
As media personnel. They actually had a pretty legit catering situation. I was kind of shocked. I was like, man, this is not just hot dogs and burgers. This is like, pretty nice.
Yeah, they had a bunch of pizzas. I had the margarita pizza, I think, because I'm doing less red meat.
Nice.
And I also had what I thought was buffalo chicken.
Oh.
That was actually
cauliflower. I loved it, dude. You didn't like it?
No, it was fine. It's just if you didn't know it was going to be cauliflower, then it was immediately disappointing.
Everyone hated on it, but I think that's what happened. It's like I saw all the hate, and they were like, "By the way, that's actually cauliflower. Don't eat that." And I was like, "Oh, don't eat that. Let me try it." It was delicious.
It was fine. It was fine, but it was good. The food was good. There was plenty of it. Erica was helping.
Erica helped out.
Run it from Erica's Pinball Journey.
Right.
Passing out the name tags and the swag and we got some raffle tickets and stuff.
They also gave us drink tickets. I mean, they kind of went all out, man. Like that. Like it was actually a lot. Like I felt like I was in the cool club.
Yeah. That was nice. And then Antarium, like the day before, is where they had the Stern Finals tournament.
Ah, interesting.
So when we were there, a bunch of Stern games were on free play.
Got it.
In addition to, they have a bunch of games at Antarium from all different eras that were, on quarters or tokens or something.
Dude, you know what I got to play? Well, I didn't get to play because it wasn't working, but you know what game Gary Flower showed me how to play?
Future Spa. Yeah.
What a cool... Dude, look up that game. Look up the artwork. If you haven't seen that...
The art on that game is bonkers. It's a ultra wide body...
Future
80s?
Spa.
Early 80s?
I don't even know.
Maybe even late 70s, but...
I don't even know. It feels like the art maybe reminds me of like 70s, like late 70s or something.
Yeah.
Definitely like old Burt Reynolds vibes or something, like Mustache Man.
Yeah. It's...
Dude.
It wouldn't fly today, let's put it that way.
In my head, it's like the person who... I don't know who or how this was designed, but it's like the year is 3000, but we're really in the late 70s, early 80s style, right?
Yeah.
A gym in space.
Yeah.
And but we're still using these weird like elastic bands and rollers, and then we have like water slides that are like somehow
yeah. I mean, I think it's supposed to be like
lifting weights in space,
an actual futuristic spa,
man.
But it's basically just an excuse to have like half naked or fully naked, I think in some cases, showering women.
Dude, like the artwork is amazing, man.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
It's wild artwork, but
different time.
Apparently, also a really fun game, according to some people we were with.
Yeah,
but
Gary Flower.
But it wasn't working right. So unfortunately,
right.
But we did also get to play another game that was on my list, and that is Gottlieb's Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
and it was also. The left flipper wasn't working. However, there's an upper flipper playfield kind of thing, and the right flipper worked. So we managed to get like some serious nudging happening to like try not to use the left flipper. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. At least we got to play it a tiny bit.
What a disappointment. We actually didn't play very much pinball because, we've been playing pinball already for a couple hours. Then we had such great examples of games at Expo.
I think we played a couple games with Ian. We played. Okay, so they did have a bonsai run. That was my first time playing bonsai run.
Right, I didn't actually play it. I was too busy hanging out with Gary.
Oh, right. Yeah, I ditched you and Gary and started playing bonsai run with Jamie, Wormhole Jamie.
Oh, Jamie Burchell.
Yeah, he beat me at it, but not too bad.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember the name now.
Okay.
Right? So first time I'd ever even heard of this, dude. I feel like such a pin baby, right?
Yeah.
Freaking stall ball.
Ball.
Okay. Glenn set it up. So everyone puts in like $1 or like a set amount of money to buy in, right? You
Cash on the glass.
Right. Or in this case, the coin return.
Yeah.
So Glenn was like, I got you guys.
Yeah, he spotted it.
So he like, and people started giving him cash, and he's like shoving it into the coin return. Like we form a line.
So we're playing it on
007,
the modern Bond game, not the L1 one, but the George Gomez one. You have a line of people. I think we probably had about 20 people.
It was like 20. I have a video. We should post it or something.
Yeah. And you start the game. You play a ball until the ball stops.
Right.
Which is typically going to be in like a ball lock, a scoop.
Like a scoop, yeah.
Or anywhere that the ball just kind of stops.
Basically holds it for like a few seconds, right?
Yeah, not cradling it. That doesn't...
Correct.
Yeah, but where the game is holding the ball.
Right.
And on Bond, you've got a right scoop, and then you've got the left scoop behind the left upper flipper.
Right.
So there's two obvious places. Then there's also a physical ball lock on the premium. So there's 3 potential places at least on that game where you can stall the ball.
Right.
And so once you successfully stall the ball, then you scurry away as quickly as possible.
So the next person basically in line behind you comes in.
Yeah.
And then you go to the back of the line.
Yep.
And then basically you just continue this, and as you lose the ball, you're out.
Yeah.
And last man standing gets the cash, right?
Yeah.
You lasted
I was number 5.
Awesome.
I mean, I was getting a little bit lucky probably, but I kept hitting the locks, and I just go to the end of the line. When there's that many people, it kind of takes a while to get all the way back through. This game probably lasted 30
forever.
minutes or something.
I was out right away. I went up to the thing and it was like, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean,
there goes my dollar.
Very, very luck based.
There goes Glenn's dollar.
But yeah, it was fun.
It was fun, man. Yeah, we should try to do that again somehow.
So anyway, after that, I think.
Oh, and they had like giveaways, like the raffles. They gave away like play fields. They gave
away so much stuff.
Like I was shocked, dude, at like all the stuff they gave away.
Yeah, I was just wondering how all these people were going to get
some
home,
translates,
how they were going to get home
on the plane, right?
Like figure out how to ship a play field,
big piece of plywood
on a weekend. Yeah.
Oh man. I think that was pretty much it, right? And I think
yeah, but we're still on day 1.
Day 1. Oh my god.
Oh man.
This isn't even the end of day 1.
I mean, to be fair, day 1 was most of the things.
Right.
So I mean, we were there for 3 days, but we did most of the major things in the first day. So the day 2 and day 3 aren't going to be as long as day 1. Then we'll be done with season 1. Season 1, epic season finale is like an 11-part Expo episode, apparently.
It was epic.
Yeah, it was epic. And so we'll see you next time with Night 1.
Night 1.
Chicago Expo.
2024.
That's where it got real fun.
Leave this territory now.
Evacuate all personnel.